Surroundings with Sash. We are having another dating show. I'm so excited that you joined us. If you have any comments or any questions to any one of us, please put them in the comments and we will interact with you. And I'm so very excited to have some coaches, some of us daters on our show tonight. And I am very excited to bring them on stage right now. And hello, Deanna.
Hi there.
Hello, Bruce.
Hello.
Hello, Ben.
Howdy.
And hello, Barry.
Hello.
How's it going, everybody?
Good.
Great.
It's good? Yeah?
Yes.
Yeah. Our last time we met was around the holidays. And so I don't know about you guys, but dating changes in the seasons. And so now we're into spring, almost summer. And it seems like dating changes then too. So I don't know about you guys, but I get a lot of past relationship people message me around this time. I don't know what that's about. Like they're like, spring fever, it's time to, hook back up into some past relationships or something. I don't know what the psychology of that is, but Barry, maybe you know.
Without knowing who they are in particular, I would suggest maybe they just get out of a relationship or I'm feeling lonely.
I know. It doesn't make sense to me.
It's not rocket science.
It happens every year, though. So I've seen a pattern of it. Like you don't hear from them. It's like holidays come. They're like, no, we don't want to buy her a Christmas present, but hey, we're going to call her in the spring.
Well, the thing is, unless your birthday is sometime in the summer, they can get away with not spending any money until later in the year. And they break up before then.
So could be. Is it all about the gifts? I don't know. We'll have to survey that. So Bruce, I don't know. Something happened to your video.
I was adjusting my mic stand and inadvertently pulled out the camera cable. I have a gift for doing that without even trying. Peter Sellers would have been proud of me. But right. I grew up watching Pink Panther movies, so
So I would like to go around and maybe you introduce yourself and tell us where you're at in the dating scenario, as far as if you're single, if you're now in a relationship, if you've been dating for however long. Deanna, can I start with you?
Sure. I'm Deanna, and let's see, I ended a 6.5-year dating relationship almost a year ago to the day. I am trying to date. I don't know what category to put myself in. Okay. Feel the depths. I'm trying.
Okay. All right. And Bruce, what about you?
I'm Bruce, semi-retired musician. Not retired from being a musician, semi-retired from my day job. I've been single over 3 years at this point. Sandy already knows the backstory. She can take a nap at this point if she wants, because she got the memo. I have been undergoing a great deal of self-help and therapy coming out from under the last relationship that I was in. It is only after giving a careful assessment, I have assessed that it is only this that I've been hit that hard by losing the relationship I had with a woman who I loved that much. And at some point, it stops being about whoever the woman in question was and forces me to take a look at what it is that hit so hard and what it is about that I need to go in and examine. So I'm still currently in the middle of making that happen. It's coming along, not 100%, but I am coming along. So.
Right. All right. Thanks for sharing. Okay. All right. What about you, Barry?
Well, I'm in the business of relationships and dating, hence my background. It also makes dating more interesting too, to be honest. I've been single now for just come up on 18 years. And frankly, I have no attachment to being in a relationship, although if I do have someone who enters my life to be in one, and we'll get into it in more detail, just add to what I'm already doing, not replace something I think I'm missing. That's a teaching point, no other way. And I'm in LA. Those people looking for geographic locations.
Great. Thank you. All right. What about you, Ben?
Well, I am moving into coaching men and relationships and talking about it on my podcast, but I'm not as accomplished as Barry, but I definitely have interest there. So I guess I've been single for 6 months, 7, 8 months, something like that, I would say.
Okay.
I tend to have like bursted relationships, and then no thanks. So I learning to take my time a little bit more than I have in the past. So that's my learning right now. Just and actually finally not attaching myself to a relationship. Like I could care less now. Just kind of
Okay.
freeing.
Right.
If it happens, great, but whatever. It's good. So
Great.
yeah.
Great. Okay. Thank you. All right. And then I'm Sandy. I'm Sash Coach, and I've been single for 6 years and had a few relationships along the way, and on and off dating. I'll take a break, and then I'll date again, and then I'll give it a try, and then I get like, oh, I don't want to do this anymore, and then I'll do it again. So I'm learning. Like, I know 6 years sounds like a long time, but really to me, it has not felt like a long time at all. It feels like a blip on the screen. I'm like, 6 years, really? But it's the longest I've ever been single since I got married the first time at 18. So it's taught me a lot on how not to have an unhealthy attachment style. Like, I have learned my attachment style, and I'm actually never on the early attachment style. I'm not needy, clingy. I'm probably more on the other end, where when I'm in my unhealthy zone, I'm emotionally unavailable. So I detach myself, and I kind of pick apart whoever it is that's in my life and go, yeah, no, they're not matching all of these things. So I have to be very careful, because I think I need that little bit of neediness. I'm in the healthy zone, but I can see myself go emotionally unavailable sometimes. So, but I have to second guess that, because just because I'm emotionally unavailable with one person might mean it's just that I'm not attracted to them, and it's not they're not my person, So it's so hard to navigate that, like. And then if I'm, really excited about a person to start, then I second guessing that, because I'm like, uh-oh, is this an old pattern? So I've done too much work, I think, sometimes. I think I've done too much to where I'm like, uh-oh, now I'm analyzing every single little thing. And I think that's unhealthy sometimes, to overanalyze my dating life, instead of just being the present and let it happen, right?
Feedback?
Uh-huh.
Do you want some feedback?
Yes, absolutely. Of course. Always.
That's all about
Always,
you.
Barry.
Well, the thing you said there that was for me was about, first of all, the only thing you can overdo is the analysis part without doing any changes. But growth and evolution, I think, is part of our life being on the planet. So there's never too much of that. And you said something about the 6 years like being a blip, not being a lot. It doesn't feel like a long time. I said I've been 18 years for me, so I do know what it feels like to be alone for quite a while. The thing is that when you're really doing the work on yourself, you don't tend to be needing something outside yourself. So you feel the time just goes by smoothly, because you're actually in a healthy relationship with yourself.
Yeah. Yes. That's very good. Yes. Agree. I mean, I guess I focus on it. Like I said, sometimes I focus on the dating relationships, and then I have to, refocus and focus on something else, that's in my life that is going on, trying to do this project or that project. And, I find enjoyment in that.
That's the thing also, just to add that one to the conversation, is when we stop doing what we're doing for a relationship, there's something wrong as well.
Mm-hmm.
You should be able to keep doing what you're doing and have a relationship.
Yeah.
So any relationship you give up things for is settling down, not growing up.
Okay. Very good. Okay. I will accept the feedback. Thank you. It's really funny. I'm really good at coaching other people's relationships and them, but myself, and I'm being so transparent and authentic about this, myself, I'm a train wreck. Like, I know it. I'm like, okay, what? And people will look at me and go, well, how? And I hate that question that I get asked. Why are you still single? I'm like, because I want to be. Because I want to be. It is a choice. at some point, I mean, I could settle for the unhealthy relationship, I guess, but I'm not willing to ever again. So I value me more than I value being in a relationship. You know, it comes to that point of like, you know, I'm okay with you or without you. You better be an addition to me instead of a subtraction.
Right.
There you go.
And so, you know, that's a lot though. That I mean, I think for somebody I'm dating, if they're not in the same place I've been or at, that sounds like a lot, you know, to them, you know, and that's what I think. I think that I sound like you know, I'm too, you know, I've been told this lately, you know, you seem too busy to date. Because I say, I'm doing this project, I'm doing this, I'm doing this, I'm doing this. And I'm telling them, I said, I will make time for something that I think is valuable. I will make time for you if this is going somewhere, you know. I mean, I'm not going to just not, you know, do that because I mean, I can see that, but I don't know. I think I'm scary.
That's the controlling side of somebody else coming out too, and that's I have no desire. I know what I'll do for her. What I won't be is microanalyzed about what I'm doing in my life currently that I love, that brings me passion, that is fulfillment. Like I don't just take that controlling element and apply it somewhere else. I'm good, you know, because but I've heard that same thing, and I am busy. But I've heard that exact same thing. I'm like, yeah, no, thank you.
Yeah, I mean, we make time for what we find valuable. We do. I mean, I can take an hour or two out of my schedule for you, you know, if you know, I guess it's a choice, right? So, I mean, I will do it if it's a relationship that I think is going forward or present or being present. But that's the hard part. How do you get from the meet and greet to that next place, you know, and not rushing it and everything? And I think that's a struggle for us who were in long-term relationships, from going from zero, you know, no relationship to dating and not just jumping in saying, okay, this is a relationship and this is how a relationship works. You know, I think there's definitely a craft to that. And I'm sure Barry can share with us on how do you switch from meet and greet to a date, 2 dates down the road, and not feel an attachment to that person.
Well, that's going to be an interesting question. Simply put, there is no formula to start with. So there isn't like you do this many dates and then you have a relationship. It doesn't work that way. But it's about intimacy, it's about connection, and it's also about conversation. Because the thing is, relationship is made up of 2 people usually. So ideally, both people are involved in the conversation of where the relationship is or where the dating arrangement is. And it's like keep talking. You don't just presume because you're kissing now this means this, or you're texting it means this. It's like it's conversation. And frankly, to be blunt, texting is not conversation.
Right. Totally agree.
Phone call, voice text at the minimum is conversation, but basically a phone call or speaking in person is better. So, you know, I used to say many years ago about how the 3 core elements of a relationship are honesty, trust, and communication. And so many people forget, start assuming the relationship is this because of what's happening. And the other person has a different perspective. So that's one thing. And the other thing is, we keep talking about attachment styles, which I know well. If you're doing that to your partner, you're in trouble. So you can put that aside, sort of thing, when you're dating, because you want to be in the present experience. And that's one of my challenges, is like when I'm dating, not to be seeing the patterns and seeing the issues and stuff that I know I could look for if I wanted to, you know?
Right. Yes. Thank you. So Deanna, I know, you know, you're newly, you know, like you said, you're a year out and you've been dating, you know, what are you seeing as far as, you know, patterns with yourself, or how are you feeling about it?
I think I decided this week I know nothing about dating. I think I've come to that conclusion. Um, I don't know. It's Sandy and I were discussing today when there's a whole lot of feedback. Can you anybody else hear that?
You do?
Yeah, everything I say is repeating back to me. I don't know if there's a
The
way.
echo.
Yeah,
It might be your.
Still like you're in a baseball stadium.
me.
Yeah. If you turn the volume down on your audio for speaker. Yeah. Sorry.
I thought it was everybody else. Me.
Okay. Are you hearing it okay?
Is that better?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, actually it is. A little bit.
I think when I start speaking with someone and there's a pattern with texting in the morning and in the evening, and this goes on for weeks. I mean, for me, it's feels like it's developed into something, and I guess that's not always the reality. So when one of those patterns is broken, you don't text me one night or in the morning. I start wondering, well, where are we? Should I reach out to him or should I not? Or I mean, I've really tried to transition into letting the man pursue, and I struggle with men. Really, the men I've encountered are really aggressive about the pursuit sometimes, and so being in a certain woman, that's kind of hard to sit back and just wait. I don't know. I don't know what the answer is. I think that makes it make a whole
right. Yeah. What is the balance of the pursuit thing? This is what I've heard from you, Ben, and from you, Barry, in the past is about the pursuit. If a man is really into you, he will pursue you. Correct?
And sorry if you, Ben.
No, you go, Barry. I can. This is good.
Well, the thing for me is, I think shared some of the talk before, is in the years past, back in the old days, when a woman would rock a handkerchief for the man to then pick up and pursue, it's always the women's invitation that initiated the conversation. Nowadays, for us men, we have to, I won't say we have to, we tend to oftentimes guess if she's single, if she opens conversation, does she even like me? So we're basically in a place where we're fearing rejection every step of the way. So, ladies, if you have mercy on us, if you indicate to us you're interested, don't do anything about beyond that, but just let us know you're interested. We feel like we've got 3 marks in the right column, so we can take some steps forward. Now, of course, you can say no further down the road. It's not like you've got carte blanche authority to come into us. But when you say, I like you, or something you just say that is inviting, we feel safe. And it sounds silly for us to say that, but we feel safe enough to offer up our emotional openness to say, I'm interested in to conversation. Now, of course, there are men out there who don't give a flying whatever about that. They just want to have sex. But in terms of relationship, it does require openness on both sides. And unfortunately for us, we're almost in the wilderness at times, like guessing which woman out there is available. We can start conversations. After a while, it gets tiring, or frankly, we get wounded so many times from rejection. We don't want to go any further,
Right. Well, what if, when I've had a conversation where I'm like, I do like I've been pretty blunt and clear because I'm not a shy lady either. I'm a pretty assertive lady. So I'm going to be like, hey, I like you. I think you're handsome. You're awesome, whatever. Because I'm about accolades in the first place. I give people kudos that I'm not even attracted to. So, I'm like, hey, you're awesome, whatever. But and then it wavers. And so there's like a delay. I don't know what you would say. And like you said with texting, like if I don't talk to them on the phone, then it seems like the texting game goes down. I call it the texting game because I'm personally, I don't like the good morning, good night game. I don't like that at all. If you like me, you pick up the phone and we make a plan. Like I want the plan. I don't want, I'm not the type that's just going to sit around and go, hello, good morning, good night, good morning, I mean, I don't know what else to do in that case.
Well, as I said, invitation, yes. We can't guarantee he's going to then respond saying he's interested.
Right, but they were interested to start. I mean, was what I'm saying. Like, this is somebody that, I went out on, I mean, it's just the weirdest thing ever.
So
It's
here's
just the
so here's
weirdest thing.
a little tip. My co-host on my podcast talks about this because she loves getting morning and evening texts. So she tells them early on, by the way, if you want to continue, what I love is this. So if you say to that gentleman, I'd love to talk, I'm not much of a texter, can we keep conversation going that way? It's okay to put these things up front because it's not a
Okay.
demand saying this works for me.
Right. So if I don't say that and I kind of waver on my texting because I have a terrible texting game myself, so they just think I lost interest and now they're gonna back off and they feel rejected. Ah,
Yeah, some of them
Yikes.
need to get over themselves a little bit though. Look, it comes down to this mentality. Like I either want to be with you in person or I don't. And I am very clear about that. I can text, I can voice text, we can do all those games, we can talk on the phone. It's all fine. It literally doesn't matter until I'm face to face with you. So if I like it even initially enough, like let's get together. Like I'm like, let's get together. And I'm gonna say it, I'm gonna pursue it. And if you say that to me, let's get together, I'm already like, that's I don't want you to do that. I want to let you know. And it's not that like you can't hint to like, hey, like generally in dating, you know, I like to meet earlier than later or something. That's cool. Like that's fine. That's setting your boundaries and what you like. I'm cool with that. Don't ask me out. Like don't and I don't really give someone a chance to because I'm either going to be I have already asked you out or I've already stopped the conversations. And I think that men have to I mean, I understand what Deanna's saying. Like, I just think men, there's a lack of men. Maybe it's our age or my age or whatever that means. Like, I don't know if it's that just you have to pursue her. Like, you have to communicate these things with her. And there's so many that don't. So then assertive women who want certain things it's like, gosh, I want to say something. Is he ever going to say anything? Do I drop a clue? Do I say this? And it's like, it is a tough deal because also I was going to say to what Barry was saying, there's the dating app world and there's a real life world. If it's a dating app world, I feel comfortable saying like you're single. At least I know you're not like, at least I know you have the illusion of being single. But if I see you at the grocery store,
Mm-hmm.
like I kind of wish there was like signs on people's head, like, okay, I would totally go talk to that girl, but if she's married, I'm not going to look like a flipping idiot. Like I'm not quite that confident. Like I'm almost not quite there. So it just kind of depends on the settings and like there's 4 girls at a bar. I'm like, yeah, do I do it? Do I not? I don't know. Like I just kind of play that game. Like, but if like we are single and we like to talk to men, oh, perfect. That's all. If I just knew a little bit, I'm like, I'm all over it. Let's go. Let's talk.
That is also about the handkerchief idea because it is that permission slip in a way. And I agree with you. It is meant to lead. However, the challenge that I went through this in the past, so I know the price I paid, was when a woman asked me out, I basically vacated my leadership role with her. I became a passive.
Yeah.
She ran the show, and I didn't mind, but it wasn't effective. This is going back before I started learning this work.
Right.
So there is that paradigm where men we're meant to be the protector leader type of energy,
The pursuer.
They're not controlling, so to speak. So it's like a woman who basically, again, like Ben said, you know, doesn't necessarily have a neon sign over her head, but at least has yes, I'm interested, I'm single. That gives us to say, okay, I can lead here now.
If you purchase, Barry, 10 of those handkerchiefs, I would buy 10 from you and pass them out to random females. Like that's a business idea here. I would love the handkerchief idea in random places. That'd be nice.
You know what? I think I'm gonna start dropping my phone.
Expensive.
Yeah, that could be.
I have a great idea. Just drop my phone. Oops. Yeah. And if they pick it up, I'll be like, "Oh, can I get your number?" No, I'm just kidding.
I have a question for everybody. Does anybody else here feel like they're learning this all over again for the first time?
Oh God, yeah.
That's all.
And I'm not ashamed of it or, feel bad. I just feel like, God, I feel like I'm learning, and not just because of technology and the texting game and all that. And I get that, not turning it into an eternal electronic paper trail, at some point, for Christ's sake, let's get together already, It's just, God, I feel like I'm learning this stuff all over again. And I swear to God, I'm paying attention. I really am.
Well, I'll
Yeah, I
tell you,
just
Bruce, this week I even text Sandy, and the person that I've been talking to for a couple weeks, I text Sandy. I said, "Can I say how you doing, handsome? Can I call him handsome after 2 weeks?" I'm like, "Is that appropriate or is that too assertive?" I mean,
Uh,
I know nothing at this point. She's like, "Yes, compliment him."
well,
I,
Bruce,
I
Bruce,
think
to
it's legal.
answer your question, Bruce, to answer your question, for people who've been in long-term relationships who maybe have been together 20 years, 25 years, the technology has changed. We didn't have smartphones back then. We didn't have
Right.
dating apps then.
Sure.
So the playing field has definitely changed.
Sure.
Ultimately, the way underneath it is how to communicate if you're out in public. That hasn't changed. So
Okay.
there is some learning adjustment, absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have a problem with interacting with people face to face organically. I think it's the technology that I have most of the problem with. And of course, that's not news because I'm the guy in the band that'll let near the mixing board. So, I just play and sing and collect my money and go home. I don't hook up the lights or make the big decisions. I'm not management, and that's fine. I'm good with that. I'm just trying to figure out how the heck to navigate this stuff to communicate my interest in a woman or to be receptive to her communicating an interest in me, which I mean, I can do that electronically. Okay. So how much is too much texting and how long is too long? And, you don't want to be a stalker or a creeper, and you don't want them to feel like they're they're Jessica Walter and play Misty for me. At what point, do you cross normal into, Clint Eastwood and Jessica Walter or vice versa, hide the pet bunny,
If you're texting a relationship, let's just pretend Deanna, the guy she's talking to, she's been texting for 2 weeks. I'm just gonna, so let's say
Fair
they've
enough.
never met.
Fair
Okay,
enough.
so their texting relationship is this level. When they meet in person, they're all the way down here again. There's a start over to it.
Okay.
Even if you've had all of these like great conversations, you're restarting once you're face to face, which is why it's nice to do earlier. I think that the one thing, actually, Dan, I think said it earlier as well, that women don't get, that I recognize, but I don't always like let them know because it's not always my place, is that I'm progressing with like certain boundaries or like things that I think, but they're projecting certain things about me past where I think that we're at, or they feel like we're here, but I'm like, I haven't said that we're here yet. I'm not saying that I'm not leading you the wrong way, but and you could even take that good morning, good night kind of stuff. Like you're already like wanting to establish a pattern. I don't even, what's your last name again? I don't even know who you are. Like don't push this path. Let me trust me. Let me kind of do this. You tell me yes or no along the way. That's fine. But let me do this, but just stay with my actions, not just how you feel with my words. And that's the actions are the key. And you have to stay within that.
Ben, let me follow up. I'm glad you said all that too. And this question again is for you, is for everybody here, has anybody else had the experience whereby they feel like the rate at which things either move forward or don't move forward? Does anybody else experience the perception that it depends on who it is that they're interacting with? In other words, you wouldn't necessarily feel that way about just anybody. Does anybody else here feel like their level of interest depends on who the individual is, in particular who they're dealing with?
Oh yeah,
absolutely.
Is that am I delusional? Because I keep thinking if
absolutely.
I'm in a woman, or I've ever gotten, let me just spell it out. If I've ever fallen in love with a woman, it's because of who she was in particular. It's not for the sake of being in a relationship.
Right.
I'm not afraid of being alone. I'm not the least bit afraid of that. And if I get the feels for someone, it's because of who they are in particular, right or wrong, in the way that they affect me, and hopefully vice versa, with any luck,
Right. I think
I don't know if that made sense or not.
No, it did. I totally understand that because I've self-sabotaged, I think, some relationships or prospective relationships, not even a relationship, because I overanalyzed something, or I wanted to take it slower than it was going, or, I did all these things to regulate it. And I think that I did myself a disservice, honestly. I mean, I'm just being honest here. I think I overanalyzed it, regulated it. And at one point I remember saying to myself, well, if it doesn't make me smile when I get his text, that means he's not the one. Like I was starting to put these like unrealistic, things on it. But I'm saying in the dating life, we go through these things, and it really, it's like, okay, if I'm giddy when he, and then you watch an Instagram that says, if you're giddy, that means that your emotional response is looking at something comparable, and now you're just feeling comfortable in that because it's unhealthy, and you're like, shoot, I should have turned off Instagram. But anyway.
Aren't you supposed to feel good when this happens, guys? Did I miss something?
It's so strange. Like
Instagram
I actually
takes
saw
off
that
and-
the other day. Like, if you're giddy when at first, that means that your body's reacting to them being unhealthy, and you've got to, and there are so many coaches out there or people out there giving the wrong advice, and it's really
Right,
bugging me.
Exactly. That's the thing.
It is
Instagram
bugging me. I'm like, people,
Aren't you
stop
supposed
putting.
to feel good when you're interacting with someone?
I
and God,
guess
you can't wait
not.
to see
No,
them
because it's a
again?
bad response, Bruce. What are you talking about? No, it's like, I was like, wow. So how in the heck am I supposed to know at
Swear to
all?
God, I got the memo. I've been paying attention the whole time. What did I miss?
So what I just said, everybody, so to be clear, that is the wrong advice. It is not the correct advice.
Okay.
Because
All right.
I think our bodies, I'm not going to relive a traumatic relationship with somebody else because I'm healthy now, because I have healed from that relationship. So
Right.
I think that is wrong. I want to feel giddy again. I want to feel that, hell yay,
That's
I'm going to go
legal,
out
isn't
with
it?
this guy tonight. It's going
sure.
to be fun. I want to feel that. And for somebody to go, okay, it's such a, and that's what I think, that we overanalyze things now. I think it is, we'll see here, and Heather is saying it. Butterflies and trauma feel the same. Now,
sometimes.
I
What's
almost
in-
agree with that. Almost.
well,
Almost.
that's what I'm saying. Giddy is a different feeling than butterfly. I don't know. I've never
Giddy
had
and
butterflies.
adrenaline are not the same.
I've never had butterflies. I don't know.
You wouldn't know.
It's
But the thing is that trauma is something that definitely can play into dating, because if you haven't done the work to heal it,
Mhm.
it's like walking around with an open wound.
Yeah.
And it's going to be tempting to be touched by the other person.
That's fair.
The other person doesn't have the wherewithal to notice it, first of all, to either one, to just take back a bit and be more cautious, or to ask about it or support you with it.
Yeah.
Then you're going to be in trouble anyway. So that's one reason I recommend, if you're single, take the time now, like Ben Bruce is doing, to do the inner work, to get therapy, to do the support system, so that when you do go out dating again, you really feel like you're a whole person again.
Yes.
You're not carrying around all baggage or all wounds that haven't been healed yet.
Barry, I need to add this real quick, and then I really will shut up and let everybody else talk. Is that in relation to what you just said? I have to confess that the last 3 years has forced me, for lack of a better way of describing it, it has forced me to grow up a little bit, and it has forced me to stop and take a close, hard look at what part of what the last downfall that happened, if you will. What was my role in that? Not to deflect accountability from anyone else. It's not the point. What part of that did I contribute that caused that to happen? Because it takes two people to for the success or the demise of any relationship, romantic or otherwise, right?
Mhm.
So what was my role in all of that? And my whole interest in that is to make darn sure I don't do, number one, I don't do it again, and as well as to learn from it. Just, so if I even smell it coming, there's that unhealed part of you, you know what I'm saying? Without overthinking it.
Right.
I want to be self-aware is what I'm trying to say.
Well, I don't know about you, but I mean, I think that's the challenge of our dating, is even after getting the counseling that we've gotten and all of that, I find myself being too hyper aware, right? And like you were saying, Barry, like, oh, I'm seeing this pattern and these actions, and I got to be careful. So how, now my challenge is to stay in the present. My challenge is to stay in the present with the person and go, okay, don't analyze any of this stuff. Just don't. Just sit back, enjoy, your dinner together or the sunset or whatever you're doing, and don't analyze him at all. Like, just let him be him, you be you, and, walk into the sunset, I mean, to find myself not being able to do that is ridiculous. Like, I'm like, you're being ridiculous,
but the thing
Andy.
is, it's so rare for people to be fully present with the other person anyway. We're always making up fantasies in our head, regardless if it's context of like being analyzing, or it's context about, well, we'll do this together down the road, or let's go hiking with them. It's like we have a bad habit of fantasizing beyond the reality of where we are.
Right.
until we get
Yes.
there. So to really be present fully will be a gift to the other person, and vice versa.
Sure.
Right.
I think what I was thinking about when Bruce was talking is that what I've done is that when something doesn't go right, which I've gotten rid of even that right or wrong, whatever happens is supposed to happen. So there is not a right or wrong.
Yeah.
And then whatever I was doing at the time, well, that must have, maybe that caused it. So maybe what do I need to change? And so every time there's a failure or something that didn't work, I'm overanalyzing myself versus just trust yourself. I'm going to be in these moments. I don't care. The direction I'm going to go is the direction I'm going to go. And there's a very free place to just love life as it comes.
Right.
And day in and day out, it'll all make sense.
I just want to know when it's okay to feel what it is that you feel. Is this legal? Is this okay to feel this? There's nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong with you. Check your pulse, blood pressure. No, you took your pills today, so you're chemically normal anyway.
So can we move? Okay, so
I'm sorry.
I'd like to talk about another thing. Like I like our dialogue here about that but I feel like you've got that, Bruce. That Bruce is one.
Michael, thank you. Do you want PayPal or Venmo?
PayPal or Venmo.
I'm better at PayPal than Venmo, but I'll do both. Thank you, Michael. Bless you.
So, I'm pretty good at judging characters or analyzing, like I was saying. I'm pretty good at it. But sometimes I fail. And I was telling Barry about a scenario. I had a guy show up. He drove 3.5 hours to meet me, and he came off as a really, religious person kind of. And that, was okay. That was okay, whatever. And when he got here, I realized really quickly that he was transient and he either wanted a sugar mama and a place to stay. So
nobody falls in love faster than a guy who needs a home.
And an intimate relationship really quickly. So it was very disheartening. Like those experiences are disheartening to me because I think that I know and I can judge and I vetted him for 3.5 weeks. I thought I did a good job. And then you have people show up and they're like that, and it was so discouraging, I guess you would say, because I was just like, man, I did it again. How did I do this again?
Yeah.
You're making the assumption. You're making the assumption that every man is analyzable by you, meaning that some guys play their cards very close to the chest, same as women do too. So you may think you know somebody, but you can't unless you have X-ray eyes, sort of thing, or some sort of telepathy. How do you know if that person really is who you think they are?
Yeah. Well, he totally came off as not genuine and who he was portraying. And that, yeah. And I even talked to him on the phone. I'm pretty good at, I thought I was good at it. Okay. Let's just rephrase that. I thought I was good at it. And it really did, you were talking about trust in yourself, Ben, and it's like, when do you trust yourself? When does that moment come? And I think it's not going to come until I meet my other person. I think that's when I'll get the epiphany. I don't think I'm going to get it before then. I'm just going to keep coasting along and still trying. And that's what I'm trying to say is I don't want to discourage people from dating. I want to encourage them because you just got to keep trying. Like you just can't give up on it. Like if I take my time and I don't feel like I have to have, a relationship, but I still do like the company of another person of the opposite sex. I do like that. It's nice to get a male's perspective sometimes on things. I have wonderful friends, Deanna. I have wonderful girlfriends, Heather, Tina, all these ones on here, Nora. I have beautiful girlfriends, but sometimes I want that male companion.
We get it.
I have guy friends.
Absolutely.
Bruce, I have you as a friend. I have guy friends. I'll meet you for dinner, but there's something about that sharing of something and holding somebody's hand, like I don't want to be so discouraged about dating that I don't remember that and that I don't want that.
Yep.
That's what I'm trying to get out
I
there.
absolutely refuse to give up on the possibility, and at the risk of sounding like I'm running for election, which I'm not, um, the couples that I know, and again, you can take a nap here if you want, Sandy, because you've heard this before. The couples that I know in the circles that I run in as a local musician here in Kansas City, where one of them is the musician or performer, and not always the husband, sometimes it's the wife. The other is the loving, supportive significant other who one understands why that their significant other is doing what they do. There's mutual trust, respect, support. Nobody's doing anything they ought to not be doing. Okay. The point that I'm getting at is that it is because of those couples, individuals like yourself, Sandy, who I know personally, why I don't give up on the prospect of finding love with a good woman who is worth loving and being loved by. I know a city of worthwhile women who are worth loving and being loved by. Do I have any business being next to any one of them in particular? Well, the jury's out there, and that's, where I'm trying to not overthink it, and trying to account for my part of the deal,
Yeah.
going forward. I want to get it right. I care. I give a damn. It matters to me. It's important to me.
Right.
It is important to me, whether it is to anyone else or not. I care enough about it to want to get it right. So
Yeah, that's good. Deanna,
Anyway.
you've been quiet for a minute. Any thoughts?
I'll shut up, Deanna. I'm sorry.
No, you're fine.
No, you're fine, Bruce.
I have a question. I have a comment. So a really simple one for the guys. If you're meeting somebody for the first time, are you receptive to a hug?
Sure.
Mhm.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
See, I'm a hugger, and if we've been texting for a couple of weeks, I'm like, oh, I finally get to meet you. I want to give you a hug. And some men have been
100%.
very weirded out by that.
100%. It's okay. You bet. It's
Why
okay.
why are they weirded out, do you think?
I don't know. It's like, if I'm going to hug you, I'm going to hug you. I'm not, trying to.
Well,
Yeah, I want a good hug. And some of them are just really the arm distance hug. I'm like, well, I can pat a friend, whatever.
it's
So it's
that's weird. If
weird.
I
The other
again,
thing
I will give you a hug if I've communicated. I've asked you on a date, and we're meeting at a restaurant for the first time, and I see you for the first time. I'm going to give you a hug. That is like as normal as shaking a man's hand at a business meeting. There is no difference. And a guy that's weird by what is he going to shake your hand? I would just say follow his lead.
Exactly.
I would say if he's not going to give you a hug, you're taking this information in. Like, okay. And that doesn't mean that he's not the right guy necessarily, but it just means just process. You're taking into account. It's like I wanted to say to Sandy earlier, I don't think it's as much about trusting you because I feel like you have the wherewithal to know enough about what you want or what it looks like and what it feels like. It's about his signals and his actions and allowing those over the course of time to be worthy of trust. It's that, and it's your observation of that, and it's your reactions to that, and the boundaries you set within that. That's crucial. But you know what you we just all we do dumb things. We do things like we all do. Like I understand, but those actions, and then they trick us.
Well, and right. And so, I mean, my challenge, and I'm just going to be authentic and truthful about this, is I'm flirty. I'm a flirt. I am. That's who I am. That's my personality. I flirt with women. I'll just be honest. Like I flirt. I'm a flirt. And so a man takes that the wrong way. Like they all think I somehow want to be intimate, even from the first meeting. Like
they want to be intimate they want to be intimate with you regardless of how much you flirt.
It's so crazy. And I try to I have to it's almost like become a conservative, like I don't give a hug because of that. I'll be honest. I do the opposite. Like she's saying she gives a hug. I don't, because I'm like, oh, nope. They're going to think I want to be all body on here, Cause, and so I have to tone myself back, so there's the funny thing about this, right? It's individual based.
So remember I mentioned earlier about the handkerchief? That's what the hug basically is. If it's done early that way. Can be received that way. I'm not saying it is, but it can be received that way. So as you said, you got to sometimes be intuitive or sensitive enough to know how they can receive it. And hopefully you get to know them a little bit before you do hug them, so you've got a sense about them, like they're going to be a hobo or not.
I
Well,
do think. Oh, go ahead. No.
do you agree with what Heather is saying? If you're flirting, they think you're trying to hook up.
Not necessarily.
Because that's my personality. I
Yeah,
mean,
but-
it's part of
Necessarily.
But
my
Deanna didn't say she was.
personality.
Deanna didn't say she was flirting. She said she was hugging. Two different things.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So her
Right.
hugging, I have lots of friends who are hug, male and female. There's no chemistry or attraction there or anything to prove. I mean, married people know it doesn't make a difference. So hugging isn't sexual or
No.
indicating
Necessarily.
anything.
No, I agree.
Okay.
Unless you carry an intention behind it, because sometimes
agree,
body
Barry.
language can convey something
Well,
else.
I would say I would ask of Heather to also and of Sandy define flirting, what that means, because I think there's all sorts of levels of flirting, especially when we're texting. So there's that. And I do think that if I were to take an average flirter in 2024 of what I may experience and know that you experience X amount of women. So the type by the like nervous, scared, or just way open and all in between.
Right.
But just know that I may interpret flirting as not necessarily a hookup, but that like in a benevolent world, that there's something safe about me, or she may be interested in sex or may be interested in a relationship. But I do equate flirting as moving down somewhat that road.
Okay.
Because I also know when you're not flirting, or I also know
okay.
the other side.
So maybe that's my problem, to be honest, is that I'm bubbly and my bubbliness can come off as flirting. So I think I'm actually bubbly. I think I'm just a bubbly, I'm very happy, joyful, I'm animated. Flirting to me is if I'm winking at you and, licking my lips and whatever, right? So it has nothing to do
Pulling your hair,
with...
yeah,
Wait a minute. Let me write that down. Hang on. Licking my lips. And what was the first one? I got the second. What was the first one?
Winking. If I'm winking at
that's-
you.
Sorry, I got stuck on licking
if
my
I'm
lip.
doing the whole coy thing, like he
My
said,
bad.
flipping my hair, all that.
Well,
I know the
stuff
difference.
that never has happened to me. That's not how I've never had the hair flip.
Well,
that
you've
I've
never
ever
been
known.
flirted by me, but anyway, it's okay.
Sorry, Sandy.
I look at flirting as creative ways that men and women fast forward in having conversations about sex. And that is a way to start to figure out things. And men can have those conversations way early. Women can have those conversations. And I would say, put on the brake. Be careful of that, because it could be like, yeah, this last person, she was just not very, and they delve into the sexual arena too early. I know that may not be flirty, but I'm just telling you that's what happens in the dating world, and it can just happen a little too early sometimes. So
sorry for what happened while you were talking, Ben. Heather was made a commentary there.
Saying she was flirting with you. Can you see that?
What?
But see, flirting is different. Yeah. So flirting is different for different people. Like I am just, I'm just gregarious, I guess. I'm just very animated.
But you're completely safe.
There's nothing wrong with that. Yeah.
Completely safe, Sandy. You're not putting off messages that you shouldn't be putting off. In my humble 2.5 opinion, you're not.
Well.
You're really not.
No, and I think that I think that just having the particular bound, I don't know, like even like Deanna was saying, like, do I say handsome to him or something like that?
Mm-hmm.
Like if I don't need that as a man early on. Like if Deanna were to say, women say that and that's fine. They think they whatever. I'm like, that's cool. That's nice. But it's
great.
Like, I don't even, I won't even comment on a female's looks until I really actually know her, because I know she gets it from a million guys. And I don't get it from a million girls. So maybe it'd be nice if somebody said that. But again, it's just not about that.
But but Ben, that's your perception that they get it from a million guys, because maybe sometimes they don't.
That's true. That's
like
true,
seriously. Like you think it. I've had that said to me before. I was dating a guy and he said, the 7-Eleven girl goes, "Oh my gosh, you are so beautiful, blah, 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 blah." I bet you he tells you that all the time. I'm like, no, he's not really ever said it to me. And he goes, and we walk out of the 7-Eleven and he's like, "I have said it to you before." And I'm like, "No." And he's like, "Well, you get it from enough people. You don't need to hear it." And that was a deal breaker. That was a deal breaker. Believe me, when that was a deal, I was like, enough said. Gotcha.
Bye. Bye, Felicia.
I'm more thinking like in that first week of just conversations. I'm not gonna like be leading, and like that's not gonna be the big driver.
Sure.
But maybe I should. I did have one girl kind of reprimand me once and said exactly what you said. Well, I still like to hear it. I'm like, I understand. I just don't want to be like, I want to get to know you. Yes, you're great looking, and I can tell you that all day long. And if we're in a relationship, you'll hear that from me all day long. But I'm not wanting to. I think guys can worry about girls thinking you're just after sex, you're just after this, or we're just so superficial. So I'm just trying not to come across that way, even if I am to an extent. I don't know.
See, I don't
Well,
equate
yeah,
being
well,
called beautiful with sex. So I don't
Exactly.
even connect those two together. If a guy tells me I'm beautiful, I'm like, wow, thank you. That was really nice. Versus, where you want to have sex with me. I don't think that right off the
No,
bat.
Yeah.
I don't. I just
yeah,
don't.
no, that's good. No, I know this is my own, like, this is my own,
Right.
like,
And that's why
If
we're
a-
that's
if a
why
guy
we're
says-
discussing this tonight.
Right,
My
right.
feeling is that if a guy says that to a woman, and now she may not realize this at the time, that he doesn't want a darn thing from her beyond that. He's just saying very matter of factly, beg your pardon, but I hope you don't mind my telling you I think you're beautiful, and I don't want you. Doesn't there's no agenda behind it, so to speak.
Right.
Can I add what my biggest compliment has ever been?
Yes.
Anything, Deanna, go.
The person that I was dating for that 6.5 years, he looked at me one day, he said, I am so proud of you. You're so accomplished. You have a good career. You're a great mom. And the list went on and on. But just that moment, he said, I'm so proud of you. That beat beautiful, whatever.
That's fair.
I mean, different things, move different
Sure.
people. And for me, that just moved mountains.
Sure.
Well, that falls into the love languages, right? The 5 love languages.
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
that falls into that category. Like, I obviously do like words of affirmation, but actually I like quality time and acts of service more than that. So
And
it's like
the thing that's great is
third.
that if you're out going out with somebody and your wiring is physical touch as a priority over word affirmation, they could say to you, "You're beautiful," and it doesn't land. But they touch your arm, you get goosebumps. So there's that difference of how you receive
Yeah.
information because it happens at different levels. And being aware of it can be helpful because then you know, first of all, what is your primary reception for love? So that when somebody says it and you don't feel it, you know why. But
Right.
also, I find out somebody else's because then you can find out how best to reach them so they know they're feeling love from you. Now, of course, this is past the point of the first date. But understanding that can help you explore that compatibility more easily too.
Mhm.
That's good. That's good. I mean, I have actually been pushing past, I've tried to make it to 3 and 4 dates before I make a decision, because I've been too quick to withdraw. I've been too quick to, huh?
Even the scorecard.
Right. But I realize that I'm kind of doing a disservice to the guy too if I'm just constantly trying to make that person my person. Like if I'm like, well, maybe he'll fit in this, whatever this is, because I think that's the trick of all of this, is that I think that we'll find the right person when we find the right person. That's I hate to say that like that, but I don't think you can push it, and I don't think that there's a formula to it. I think but you're going to have to keep trying. That's my thing. I think we just have to keep trying anyway and not give up. I keep telling God to just send him my way and put neon lights on him, but he hasn't done that yet. So
Can he at least put a tracking number on him for you?
So you didn't like the UPS guy when he showed up?
Right.
That's the thing about dating. That's the thing. At least you're in the game. You're actually dating, because some people have this bad habit of sitting home saying, "Well, where's my partner?" It's like you got to get out in the world and mix in the population around you to get to meet somebody. And sometimes it feels like a needle in a haystack. But
you mean it's not the Amazon guy? Come on, Barry. The Amazon guy. Could
Might
be.
be.
Well, that it isn't.
My
What
Alexa
more
tells
stuff?
me to thank him all the time. I mean, it could be him.
That's a hint from the universe.
Oh, God.
I mean, that's what's so tough about this is like, and I don't want people to give up. I still have a hope for love, still have a hope for people to have joy and successful relationships. And I think that's where my, heart is. And that's why I just keep on. I'm like, okay, I'm going to try. All right. Pull up the bootstraps. Let's see, it's just really, it is really hard to navigate. And thank you, Barry, and thank you, Ben. I know you both are coaching, and Barry is the relationship coach here. And he's, and Nora was reading your book. I told her to get your book. He's got a great book. The name of it again, Barry?
50 Ways to Love Your Lover. It's on Amazon.
Thank you.
It's on Amazon. See, Amazon guy. He could bring it to you.
To be clear, it's not 50 positions. It's 50 principles.
No, now I'm not buying it.
Is that the next edition? Can we see a future edition of that coming up in the future at some point? I'm curious.
Yeah, it's called 50 Shades of Grey.
Oh, God. Yeah, I saw that movie.
Yeah, that's right, Amanda. Hey, Access Service Amazon guy. There you go. See,
right.
You never know. But I mean, but that's the thing is I coach people on, reaching their goals and that kind of thing. And I have a client that, I just keep telling them, you've got to get out into groups and do things to meet people. Like you can't just sit at home. It's not just going to materialize for you. You do have to do something about it. And and you have to have a positive outlook about it. Like a lot of people dread this part. They dread it. I hear them, Deanna and I talk about this a lot, about the dating stuff. And it can be tedious, but I'm optimist. I'm an optimist. So I want, people to not give up and, you never know.
So one of the tips I'll throw in as a bonus.
Yeah, we're going to do that.
Something that just reminded me. So we took this, I think last week in my podcast, talked about this, is there is this tendency to think that every time you go out, you're looking for a date, which is a trap.
Wow.
Right.
If you don't already have things to do in your life, social engagements, service projects, exercise things, dance classes, cooking classes, those sort of things, whatever turns you on, do those things. Because likely is you're going to find other people with the same interests.
Yeah.
Right.
And that's where you might find a date more likely than going on the dating apps. The challenge we have now is we've been so isolated because of 3 years of being locked down.
Right.
We haven't had practice anymore. We're out of practice. Like we used to go out and do social things and we meet people at parties, bars, other places. But do things that fill you up, that you enjoy doing. Because first of all, you enjoy yourself anyway. And secondly, meet somebody who might be interesting. You have a common conversation point starter as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, that's something that we talked about in the past. I think online dating has really ruined. They make people think that they have more opportunities than they actually have, more prospects than they actually have, because you don't. Like I mean, just gonna say it. You don't. You think that person is the best person until you meet them, and then you're like, oh no, nope, that's not wrong chemistry. We're not gonna make it work because of schedule. You just don't know. So you have to be really. I think you have to be very respectful through that process too. Because you're dismissing people that could actually be the one, and you're dismissing them off of, oh, well, he's not 5'10". Nope. Swipe left, Nope. He's not, this eye color, or he's not this or that, And I think us equating people to that list of things that they have on there, even a guy that can't, maybe he can't articulate what he wants to in his profile doesn't mean he's a no. He could be an actual really decent guy, so I just, I have a criteria in my head. Don't, get me wrong. I'm a tall girl, so, I'm more comfortable with a guy that is taller than me. I like them to at least be my height and a little bit taller because I like to wear heels, so, it's kind of like, that is a criteria, but at the same time, I'm not going to, if they look like they have a really good profile, sometimes I will go out with them. And I have actually, they weren't a match because of some other thing, but I tried it,
Sure.
But I don't think, I don't know how you guys feel. I'm starting to get tiresome of the online dating stuff. So I'm starting to do different things like Barry was talking about, going to do activities and this or that. And I think, well, maybe I'll bump into them. Maybe.
There's a lot of social things developing in cities all across, that I think that's dating is transitioning to singles groups and just different events and places where you can actually, like you meet someone at work or school, you see how tall they are. You have a conversation where it's not like, am I dating you or not? And there's not the pressure. And that's kind of the direction that I'm going, is just more, I may not go up to strangers at bars, but I may go to an event, and just meet people and just keep it chilling and meet guys and girls. Like meet guys like it doesn't have to, it's not even just to find my wife. It's just to meet good people that I could be friends with and hang out and just see what happens.
Yeah.
And the thing to remember also is you don't know who they know.
Right.
They may say, you may got some and they go, wow, you're such a cool guy. I know somebody you should meet.
True.
Absolutely true.
I mean,
Ben?
right.
Question, Ben. When you have a podcast, I trust?
Yeah, I do.
When does it usually air?
Usually it's once a week, and it usually comes out either like on a Friday or a Saturday. I've just about to release my 50th episode.
All right, cool.
So I've been doing it for about a year.
What time and what time zone usually?
Well, I'm in Kansas City like you, so it's a central deal.
Right.
Yeah, so it's just I have a couple people who help me put it on, so it's just whenever they like put it to Buzzsprout and it gets released. So you can just like search my name. It's just like on YouTube and everywhere.
Right on.
Yeah.
Good to know.
Yeah.
Thank you. I'd be really curious because, like I said, guys, I just want to, and it's okay if I am the only one who feels like he's starting over from scratch. But I swear to God, I feel like, God, am I learning this stuff all over again, man? I'm trying.
We didn't learn all this when we were 20. We didn't have to. It was a different world and a different time.
That's when I really want to ball and suck my thumb sometimes, man.
I
don't really want to do that, but
I was really wondering where you're going there.
Why is it we have sex education in school, but we don't have relationship education? That was
I said that as a high school teacher all the time. It should be relationship training.
Yeah,
and it would solve so many like life world. So many issues. So
you know what? That could be said about a lot of classes in high school. What do we need trigonometry? Teach me how to balance a checkbook or pay my taxes.
I took consumer math. Consumer math worked. Yeah.
Hello,
Yeah.
Stuff that we're going to need to use when we're grown-ups and out there in the real world.
Well, cool. We are at our end of our time. I know this breezed by, and thank you guys so much. But I want to end. Any questions at that, Deanna? I feel like I need to give you the floor for at least a minute or so. Anything you want to say or
shut up, I swear to God.
Ask?
I was thinking about something earlier. I wanted to mention. It really isn't a closing thought. It's more of a discussion type thing. But I think a couple different times with different people, one of my frustrations has been, even face-to-face, a conversation seems to be his conversation and I'm adding to his conversation. And I don't like that. I mean, I'm more than happy to engage and learn about you. I'm thrilled to do that. But as a woman, again, the pursuit, I want you to say, well, tell me about your kids or tell me about your career. I don't want to be that you've told me about yours and I say, oh, well, let me tell you about mine because I'm adding to you. You're not asking me. Right. And that's been a dating problem for me a couple different times. So I get frustrated with that, and I don't really want to continue seeing that person. I don't need to be the queen. I don't need to be. I'm not high maintenance. I just want to know that you are into me and you want to learn about me and give me the floor once in a while.
I'm taking notes, Deanna. Promise.
That's good. That's good, Deanna. Yeah. That was a good ad.
It's why I want to coach men, because I think that if men just had a little, just heard you say that from a neutral perspective, I think men are capable. I just don't. There's something that I'll realize. I think just a little information about what a woman is looking for and wants. Sometimes we're a little oblivious to certain things, and with a little nod, and so that's great. It's great insight, actually.
Thank you.
Great.
Thank you, Deanna.
All right. Bruce, anything to wrap up?
I'm just glad to be here, guys.
Barry?
This has been a really rich conversation. I'm glad to be part of it. I also have a couple of podcasts I host as well. One I recommend highly for those people who are dating. It's called Let's Talk Dating. It's on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, everywhere else. We've got 160 episodes up so far. We've been doing it for like 3.5, 4 years now. My co-host and I have a good dance. She and I have a great rapport, so it's a good conversation to listen to. and we have really useful topics. So check out my playlist.
What is it called again, Barry? I'm sorry.
It's called Let's Talk Dating. ... Let's Talk. It's on
Okay.
Apple, Spotify, everywhere else, and you can see my picture of me, and it's a black background with me, and then Christine, my co-host.
Okay. Thank you. Good to know.
Thank you, Barry. And they can reach out to you too if you need any relationship coaching.
Yeah, I did
I
put
just may.
I did put that QR code up there. It's been on my screen for years now. It basically takes a picture of your phone. It gives you all my links.
Cool. Count on it. You may very well hear from me
Ben,
at some point.
A promise or a threat?
All right. I'll put it in writing. Yeah. My bad. You can imagine the fun my bandmates have with me, man.
so Ben, anything you want to?
This has been a blast. I have a book that's coming out this year called This Book Solves Problems for Men. And so I'm
Nice.
excited about it. Been working on it for a while, and hopefully this fall it should come out. So we'll see.
Cool.
Great.
Maybe it'll solve a problem or two. Who knows? We'll see.
Guys, thank you all for being here. I really appreciate it. I got a
Yes,
great deal out of all of
thank you
Really
all
did.
for coming on and giving your opinion. I know I talked a lot about. I do coach people, not in the dating, but I do coach them just to navigate to their purpose and to help them along the way. Give them good goals, smart goals. Have them achieve them. I'm also writing a book about trauma. And so that I'm working on that. Hopefully that'll come out at the end of the year. But we get to this place, and we think we have it figured out, just like you said, Bruce. And then the bottom falls out, and you go, I didn't figure out anything. What the heck?
God.
I thought I did. It's really just us leveling up to the next level is what I think. This is my opinion on it, is that the bottom didn't drop out. We just leveled up, and now we have a different perspective, and now we've leveled up, not down.
Is it normal to feel discouraged in the process of all that?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yes.
So I'm not completely tripping, just partially tripping.
Right.
No,
Right.
So the thing is, we have that habit sometimes of feeling we come around the same thing again and again, we're going in circles. It isn't, as you said, that we're up level. It's actually a spiral going up. So you're right. That's the way it works.
God.
Right.
Okay. Let me
Great
breathe.
way to put that, Barry. Thank you. Yep. And that's the percent. I finally was like, wow, I've gained this wisdom, but I now see I need to have more wisdom over here.
Fair enough.
That's all. That's it. So
Fair
thank
enough.
you all who joined us. Thank you guys for all interacting. What
Thank you,
great guests we had on here too. And thank you, panel. You guys rock. So just
Andy,
let
thank
me
you
know.
for putting this on and
Thank you.
hosting this whole bloody thing.
I'll have another one
Better.
as we progress, maybe after the summer blast, So
Post-summer dating.
huh?
The post-summer dating.
The post-summer dating. Oh, brother.
Oh no!
So-
What I did for my summer vacation.
Fun. All right,
Oh,
you guys.
wow.
Thank you all for joining me, and
Bet.
thank you, audience. And if you have any questions, put them in the comments, and we'll try to answer them later. And I really appreciate you all. Peace out.
God bless
Thank you,
everyone.
Andy.
Be well.
Thanks.
Bye.